Beloved Saints, today's 5-minute message of redemptive history is about Omri and the history of the kings of Israel, Part 2, from the 4th book of Redemptive History series, God's Profound and Mysterious Providence. In Part 1, we examine how Omri built a city on the hill of Samaria. At this time in Part 2, let us examine how Omri acted more wickedly than all the kings before him. 1 Kings 16 verse 25 states, Omri did evil in the sight of the Lord and acted more wickedly than all who were before him. First, Omri received recognition from the people of the world, but not from God. When Zimri murdered Elah and his family to usurp the throne, the people who were infuriated by such an act took Omri as their king. Although Omri received recognition from the people, he committed more evil than any of the kings before him. Therefore, he received no such recognition from God. Everyone, Psalms chapter 1 states that God acknowledges the way of the righteous. This way of the righteous does not end in ruin, and it leads to prosperity in all aspects. The way of the righteous also delights in the Word of God and meditates on it day and night. I pray that we will all be recognized by God for taking the way of the righteous, having the Word of God as our standard and norm. Second, Omri was famous for his show of might, but it all crumbled after about 150 years. As was the case with Baasha, Omri's might which he showed were written in the book of the Chronicles of the Kings of Israel. This is in 1 Kings 16 verse 27. Although Omri's act of might are not clearly outlined in the Bible, we can still surmise about his show of might within politics, military affairs, and in governance. According to archaeological finds, a Moabite inscription from about 850 BC has Omri, king of Israel, inscribed on it. Moreover, in the records of Shalmaneser II, king of Assyria, Israel is referred to as the house of Omri even after Omri's death. As such, Omri's name was well known even in faraway regions. We can deduce that Omri was quite active in his diplomatic dealings with Gentile nations from the fact that his son Ahab was married to Jezebel, the daughter of Ethbaal, king of Sidonians. However, the impregnable fortress of Samaria which Omri had built, his splendid diplomatic policies which received recognition from historians, and his awesome display of military and political prowess all crumbled in 722 BC at the hand of Assyrians. This is merely 158 years after 880 BC. In such a way, all things on earth that have been built up according to human desires will be destroyed in an instant. Only those things done by faith and the things stored up in heaven will remain for eternity. Beloved saints, if a man builds a house on the sand, it will soon collapse when the rain falls and the wind blows. However, if a man builds a house on the rock, it will not fall when there is rain and wind. Everyone, the sand symbolizes the greed of man, and the rock symbolizes the word of God. Today, let us not become like Omri and build and pile upon our greed in our lives. That is like building a house on sand. Instead, let us build our life firmly upon the word of God, the rock, glorifying God and living lives of faith. I bless in the name of the Lord.